What's up, you guys? Namikon here, bringing you my perspective of what entertainment is bringing us, and welcome to another unfiltered discussion video. This time, I'll be talking about Phase 5 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I'm not doing this alone. And I got three other people with me. The first one, and I will introduce them myself. The first one I am introducing is Carbs. How are you doing, my friend?
Thank you for having me, and I'm excited to talk about the Phase 5 of the MCU.
Yes, sir. All right. And the second person I'm introducing is Brandon. How are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well here. I'm excited to join this discussion. I saw the last video for your Mario movie, and I'm hoping this will be just as fun as that.
Yeah. I'm hoping that as well. And the last person I'm introducing is Vince. How are you doing today?
Hey man, what's up? I'm
Hey.
excited too. Yep.
All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna discuss the TV shows, and then we're gonna talk about the movies. We're gonna start off we're gonna start with the small ones, and then we're gonna talk about the big guys. Is that cool with y'all?
Sure,
Yeah, that's cool.
That's fine.
All right. So the first TV show that we're going to talk about is season 2 of What If. Uh, Honestly, I I'm not a fan of the season 1 of What If. There were a couple of episodes that I liked, but like overall, the show just fell flat on my flat in the face for me. But out of all the TV shows, this is the one that I'm excited the least. All right. How about you, Carbs?
Now, honestly, I really do love the concept of bringing different multiversal ideas into a show. The only problem is the shows limit the ideas. For example, the best ideas of the show What If are the Doctor Strange episode, the
Yeah.
Zombies episode, and definitely the What If Ultron 1. Honestly, What If Ultron 1 should have been what Avengers Age of Ultron should have been. But in all honesty, the one thing that really attracts me to What If is the animation.
Yeah, I do agree. The animation is really good. Yeah.
Really, really good.
Anything else, Carlo? Carbs?
In all honesty, season 2 of What If, there was one episode of What If that didn't make the final cut of season 1, and that was the What If Gamora defeated Thanos. In all honesty, I was kind of bummed out when we saw Gamora in the final episode of What If, but we didn't really see a full episode on her, and it seems really interesting because Tony Stark was with her in a Wakandan style Iron Man.
Honestly, I do remember they were teasing Gamora in What If, and that never showed up. I don't know why that was the case.
Yeah, definitely. But in all honesty, I'm happy with What If. I think it is one of the better Marvel shows that came out on Disney Plus, or at least in my opinion, I enjoyed it a bit better than some of the different shows on Disney Plus. Not all of them, but some of them.
I see.
But I am excited for season 2 just because I want to see where they take off or what other multiverses are we going to get into.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right. How about you, Brandon?
What If is something that I thought was a very interesting concept that I was hoping that the MCU would actually get into. A lot of times, I've read a lot of the What If comics from Marvel, from the 1980s and all that.
Mhm.
They answer a lot of questions that maybe posed for around the time. Now, I do agree that What If some of the episodes were not so good. There were some good ones, like again the Ultron What If Ultron 1, that was a good one. But I think the big takeaway is like this is technically happening after the whole ending of Loki season 1 with the Watcher Uatu just watching over the whole multiverse expanding. And what I think is cool that this show has the potential to actually potentially link to the movies, considering all the stuff that's about to happen in Phase 5, that the whole multiverse saga is finally starting. That there's a good chance that we'll be seeing a lot of references like from What If going into the movies. So I think season 2 will probably have some of that.
Yeah. All right. I see what you're saying. All right. Anything else?
Yeah, actually. So about the whole Gamora, thing. I do believe that there will probably be an episode in season 2, or at the very least, maybe season 3, explaining like her origins or everything, like how she met Stark. But honestly, I'm more excited of the fact of the whole post-credit scene in the final episode of season 1, where Captain Carter finds the Hydra Stomper, because that's been confirmed as an episode for season 2. What if Captain Carter fought the Hydra Stomper? I'm really excited for that one, because this basically getting an ending that we didn't really get to see in Endgame very too much. Because remember in Endgame that Cap basically went back in time to be with Peggy again. This is basically a take on that we're gonna see, because we only saw like one tiny bit of that at the end of Endgame. This is gonna be like the whole episode's worth of that, and I'm excited for that.
All right, sounds cool. How about you, Vince?
Honestly, concept of it, I like it's a question of what if certain events happen a different way. Like the Ultron episode, that's why my favorite episode, because that like Carlos said earlier, that Ultron episode, what it could have been, what Ultron could have been, but then good thing that it was made in animation, not real life. But then but the concept, the animation is good, but certain episodes like the Party Thor wasn't it for me. I mean, just felt like filler in a TV show. But other than that, I'm excited for season 2. What they planned. Yeah.
Well, all right, sounds good. All right, the next one is Secret Invasion. All right, this one I am really interested in. I obviously the scrolls were introduced in Captain Marvel, which not not a great introduction, I would say, but I I thanks to Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, we know what the scrolls are. I know what the scrolls are about. These guys are a huge. These guys have the potential to be serious, legitimate threat, a legitimate threat to to Earth. So seeing Nick Fury and Ben and Cole and Maria Hale and and Everett Ross and some of the Shield agents. It's pretty cool that it's just mainly cool that we're finally seeing Nick Fury again. I'm looking forward to it, and the fact that it's going to be a spy thriller. Yeah, it's gonna be a different take. It's gonna be a completely different vibe, and I am seriously looking forward to it. How about you, Carbs?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. The idea of it being a sort of crime or that type of series, I'm really interested, because when we saw the teaser trailer or the trailer for the show, at first I didn't really understand what was going to happen. All I really saw was Nick Fury and Skrulls, and that's the series. But if we really do think about Secret Invasion, I think it's a really good way of introducing the Skrulls a bit more, because, in all honesty, the introduction of the Skrulls in Captain Marvel, it was pretty okay for me. But in all honesty, the only reason why people would have watched Captain Marvel was to see what he connected to towards Avengers Endgame. So many people didn't really, understand what the Skrulls were, because if you remember Spider-Man: Far From Home, the post-credit scene revealed that Talos was impersonating Nick Fury while Nick Fury was on vacation. So people who didn't see Captain Marvel, they had no idea who these guys were. So if having Secret Invasion being involved in the MCU, it's going to be pretty good. I'm excited for it, but I'm also a little bit questionable. So I don't know. I'd have to see what it's going to be like. But honestly, I think this is one of those Marvel shows that I can see with my father, because he really likes these types of series. So yeah, that's what I'm.
All right. How about you, Brandon? What are your thoughts on the upcoming Secret Invasion show?
Secret Invasion is something that I think is going to be very exciting to look at, seeing all the Skrulls being like, you see them like they've been on Earth for a very long time, and now they're rising up from here. I read the comics actually on Secret Invasion, both the one from the early 2000s and the one actually running right now in comics. And because in the MCU, the Skrulls are actually portrayed as the good guys, while the Kree are portrayed as the bad guys, and when it's the other way around in comics, I think it's going to be more like the second one that's currently running right now, where like there'll be like good Skrulls impersonating people around the world for like a good cause, but like there's also going to be people like Maria Hill in the comics who's going to hunt them all down, and it kind of this does kind of give like a feeler for that, kind of, if you get what I mean on that.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, because again, in Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the Skrulls are portrayed as evil, and yeah, that's how they're normally portrayed as in the comics as well. But it's going to be interesting because, again, they've been here for a while, so there are definitely going to be some good Skrulls, like Talos, and there are going to be some bad ones. So again, it's just going to be how they portray Secret Invasion as is, and how it's going to affect the whole MCU as a whole, really. That's going to be like my reaction to it.
All right. Yeah, I see. How about you, Vince?
Honestly, I don't have an opinion on Skrulls. I mean, they're good in concept, but for Secret Invasions, I feel like I'm really intrigued. I'm really interested what they're gonna do with Nick Fury and all the Skrulls and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm really intrigued for it.
All right. And the next show is season 2 of Loki. The season 1 of Loki, the Loki TV show, that was honestly one of the best TV, probably the best MCU show probably the best MCU show, honestly. Like, it's just so surprisingly consistent, and it's surprisingly really enjoyable. Most of the episodes I really enjoyed, and I'm looking forward to what season 2 has to offer, because I thought the whole entire story was done, but no, apparently they got more. There's more stories to be told for season 2. So I don't know what the story is gonna be for season 2 of Loki, but I am looking forward to it because the show was great. All right, how about you, Carbs?
All right, Loki season 2. I really think this the Loki show itself has the biggest opportunity to expand of their concept. In Loki season 1, we were introduced to the multiverse.
Right.
And because we were introduced in the multiverse, that's how Spider-Man, No Way Home, and Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness became movies. Because if people hadn't seen Loki season 1 or Loki the series, they wouldn't understand how No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness would have played out. Many people thought Spider-Man No Way Home was just, okay, they're running out of ideas, so they're just trying to bring back the old characters. But no, it was because of Loki, they mixed in that idea of the multiverse being a concept that could happen in the MCU, and it did. So Loki season 2, we're definitely going to pick up on what happened at the end of Loki season 1, which, if anybody hasn't seen, spoiler alert, but in Loki season 1 at the end, Kang, or He Who Remains, died because Sylvie killed him, and without all the multiverse to, get out of line. And when Loki returned to, what's that place called? Can somebody help me out?
I think it was TV something. I forgot.
It's called the TVA.
TVA.
Mobius, who had studied Loki for forever, didn't recognize who he was. Didn't know who he was. And then before the show ended, season 1, it panned out on a statue of Kang, not He Who Remains, but Kang the Conqueror. So I'm really excited to see how it picks up, because we're gonna go through this again. But Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania takes place before Loki season 2. So whatever happens in that movie is gonna affect Loki season 2, which I'm really excited to see what happens.
Yeah. I am really looking forward to what the multiverse, what Loki's gonna do. Season 2 of Loki does to the multiverse. How about you, Brandon?
Yeah, I'm excited about Loki season 2. It's all, again, agreed. It's probably the best TV show of Phase 4 entirely, because it had good pacing, good writing, good storytelling, good character development, and it was honestly just amazing just watching it. My thing is on Ant-Man and the Wasp, does Kang right now, Kang will be, in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania in the quantum realm. Yet the TVA right now, which is like a place outside of time, apparently, from Loki, as confirmed in Loki season 1, he's already there, which means that at some point, during the whole multiverse splitting everything, he gets out of the quantum realm. So this makes me think that we'll probably get some answers as to how he got to TVA in Quantum Mania before then. But so it's like Loki happened, then the multiverse breaks, Quantum Mania happens, then the finale, the final scenes of Loki happen. That's how I'm thinking of it right now. And I'm hoping they explain that in Loki season 2.
Yeah, all right. How about you, Vince?
All right, for me, I love this TV show. Loki's one of my favorite Marvel characters, comic-wise, and in the movies. This show was honestly, out of all the Disney Plus shows, it came out in 2021. This is probably the most impactful TV show of all of it, because without this show, we wouldn't have Spider-Man: Far From Home, No Way Home, Multiverse of Madness, and we saw a version of Kang the Conqueror, and then now with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, we see a different version of Kang the Conqueror, and so without this TV show, pretty much the TV show sets everything in motion. If it weren't for this TV show, and undergoes the idea of the whole multiverse, and so, yep, I'm excited for what season 2 has for us, and so yeah.
Yeah, I am looking forward to season 2 of Loki. I hope it hits me just as hard as the first episode of Loki, because that shit hit hard.
The first episode of Loki, honestly, it almost made me tear up when he was seeing his reaction to how he was living his other life. When he saw how he basically killed his mom, how he basically killed his dad, and almost his brother, and how he bonded together, and then he quickly died when Thanos arrived. That really just,
it really
almost
did.
made me.
Yeah, I agree. Well, let's go to Ironheart. I'm not sure what to think about this, because I heard in the comics her storyline it wasn't that great, but from what I've seen in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever for Ironheart for Riri Williams, I did like the character. She was one of the standouts. So I don't know what the story holds for her. How about you, Carbs? Carbs. We're discussing Ironheart. All right. I'll go back to you in a bit. How about you, Brandon?
Okay. First off, can you guys hear me real quick? Because I noticed that Carbs is just. We can hear me, right?
Yeah. We can hear you.
All right, okay, cool. So for Ironheart, yeah, her storyline in the comics, I'm probably the guy who probably knows more the modern comics, like the modern heroes are coming out in the MCU for the comics. So you probably should ask me on those questions. In Wakanda Forever, spoiler alert for those of you who have not seen it yet. They did her character pretty well. I feel she's a little more snarky. I'd say a bit more, I guess, a bit more egotistical, but a bit more, she reminds me like a little more like Tony Stark than she does in the comics, really. But Dominic really portrayed her character really well. And what I think of that is that for Ironheart, this obviously is going to be going after, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, obviously. She's building a new suit. Again, spoiler if you haven't seen Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, she's building a new suit. After her first one got tossed into the ocean, and the second one, made of completely out of vibranium, is back at Wakanda, because obviously she can't take it with her. This is going to be like her journey, her defining journey. She's got the starting point, and she got the know-how from her time in Wakanda. Now she's on her own, and she gets to build herself up into her own hero, which I think will be a very good journey and a lot of good character development, considering how Dominique really portrayed the character in Wakanda Forever. So I'm really excited on that.
All right then. How about you, Carbs?
All right, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh yeah, you sound so much better now.
All right, yeah. So, Alright, so let me begin. When I saw Black Panther Wakanda Forever, I was actually kind of skeptical on the whole Ironheart to see how they were going to portray the character. I only read one of her comics, the first comic. I wasn't really that attached to the character, but she seemed pretty chill in the comics. In Black Panther Wakanda Forever, she was introduced, and I liked how she used blueprints to creating her own iron suit, but not entirely using the concept of Iron Man in her suit. I mean, it was mentioned in the line in the movie, like, somebody was surprised that, oh my gosh, it's an Iron Man suit, but it wasn't really Iron Man, but more Iron Heart. And it was cool how, in the ending, where it was a completely vibranium-made suit, people really didn't like the design of her suit. I didn't really like the design of her suit because it was really off from what it is in the comics. But Riri Williams is a pretty nice character. It's one of those new modern Marvel characters that many people could connect to, or many people could really love. And I really like Ironheart, but I don't really see how the show is going to be portrayed or what they're going to do in the show. They already introduced the character in the MCU, but I do really. It's going to be interesting.
All right. So it seems like Vince left. Well, unfortunately, we're gonna have to move on to Echo. Now, we were first introduced to Echo on the Hawkeye show. It was the Hawkeye TV show had a lot of potential, but like the problem was there were a lot of deleted scenes that should have been added to the TV show. Like I remember one of the deleted scenes was Echo actually meeting up with Wilson Fisk. Now this now not only this would have been hype as hell to introduce the Kingpin, it also would have added a lot of substance because there was some actual storytelling in it. But like Marvel fortunately just went around with the hype, just around with the hype crowd, and just saved him for last, which doesn't really, which can only get you so far. Now for the Echo show in particular, honestly, I don't know what to expect. I do expect it to be some sort of a really grounded show, some sort of street level show, but I don't know. I just need to see the trailer. I just need to see what to expect. So, all right. How about you, Carbs?
Heck, never heard of the character Echo until she was introduced in Hawkeye. Hawkeye for me was probably one of my least favorite of the MCU shows right now. Mostly because I saw the whole series. The last two episodes were the only two episodes that, for me, were portrayed as okay. They were pretty great, but the rest of the show was really kind of a letdown. I do love the Yelena story because of how we got to see how we saw her trying to hunt Hawkeye after the post credit scene in Black Widow. But in all honesty, I mean, she was given a bit too much hype. Her character was a bit too cocky for me, but I guess that's how she is now. I guess I don't know how to try to portray her. But they really did mess up with Kingpin. That was a really big disappointment because all the little details that was introduced in the previous episode. I don't know which episode was it, where they gave a teaser of what we were supposed to expect in the show, or who we were supposed to expect. That was really hyped up. But then we got to see Kingpin in the last two episodes, and it was a pretty big letdown. The character was okay. They panned up on how he was gonna get shot, so Echo might lead, which leads to the actual series of Echo because Kingpin definitely alive. Because if they pan up on a person killing somebody with a gun, most likely the person's not dead, or at least we assume that he's not because he's Kingpin. But yeah, I really want to see what they do. But if you notice, they did the exact same thing with Daredevil and She-Hulk, that they only actually showed him in the last two episodes of the show, which is another big letdown. But yeah, hopefully we get to see more of Kingpin and Daredevil, because if Echo is leading to Daredevil, to the Daredevil show, then I'm definitely going to be looking forward for that.
All right. How about you, Brandon? What do you expect from the Echo show?
It was a little tough for me. I actually have mixed feelings on the show and on the character itself. Again, in Hawkeye, they did not do her justice as much as they should have. And this come from my experience reading from the comics, that Echo is just really like almost too diverse in her identity as a superhero. She's been herself. She's been Ronin, and she's also is currently the wielder of the Phoenix Force. So she's technically Phoenix right now. And the problem with this is that it's so diverse that it's so hard to see her as who she is herself and not as someone else. So I really hope they give her a sense of identity in the Echo show. But again, like you said earlier, I'd have to wait for the trailer to come out to see how they portray it as. But yeah, that's just my take on it right now.
All right. Yeah. All right. So the next show is Agatha: Coven of Chaos. I was not a fan of Agatha in WandaVision. I just did not see the point of her inclusion, if I'm being honest. So this is also another show that I'm excited for the least. So maybe it could be really important. I heard some theories that there is a chance that Agatha might revive the Scarlet Witch, but I don't. But I don't know. I just need to see. I just need to see a screenshot. I just need to see a trailer to see what the show is about. How about you, Carbs?
My favorite character right now, but this is probably the biggest example of the MCU taking characters that were really appreciated at the time, but now looking back at it, I just say, okay, she was an okay villain for the show. WandaVision for me, I really love the show. It was probably one of the shows I was most excited for, but after seeing Agatha in it and people loving her at the beginning, and now I myself actually liked her in the beginning, but then now looking back, I'm like, yeah, I mean, she's not that good as I thought she was, because having a entire show dedicated to her really proves that Marvel is just making shows of secondary characters. For example, Ironheart, Echo, and now Agatha. But I don't know. I'd have to see, because I'm not really into that part of the MCU right now. But like, I'd have to see a trailer, just like how I'd have to see a trailer for Echo. Hopefully, it could be a comedy, which I would love to see for that, because in the show she was mostly portrayed as a comedic character. So if we're going to the more comedic than the darker tone, or maybe even a mix, I would actually be excited for that.
I doubt it will be as funny as Peacemaker, though. That's for damn sure. Well, how about you, Brandon?
Agatha is something I am looking forward to. We are getting more in depth for character, so that's a big plus after the whole WandaVision that happened with her and her being trapped in there. So origin story, that's a big plus for that, I feel. In the comics, Agatha is actually Wanda's teacher in how she uses the magic. So I do think that it is possible that she may revive Wanda if she is dead. Because again, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, we don't know if she's dead. She's intentionally not shown like dead. So there's a chance she could be alive, she could be dead. Again, maybe they'll explain it in Agatha, but honestly, I'm just excited just for the show, for more origins, to see how they portray her compared to the comic book version, because she is ancient in the comics. Like, she is like grandma in wheelchair old. And I think, and we see her as just so young in the MCU, and I just think that, this is going to be very interesting how we see her. Because was she that young the whole time, or was she actually old and go back to being young? I mean, again, there's a lot of possibilities they can do with the origins, so I'm excited for that.
All right, and so we'll go to what is probably my most anticipated show of the Phase 5 of the MCU so far, which is Daredevil Born Again. This one I'm actually looking forward to. This show is gonna have 18 goddamn episodes. I can't wait to see. Can't wait to see what this has to offer. But unfortunately, from what I've heard, most of the writers who wrote the Netflix show are not going to be involved in this. But the good thing is Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio are returning as Daredevil and the Kingpin. But yeah, so I am seriously looking forward to this. I just hope that they keep the same tone as the Netflix show. It's probably not going to be no. It most likely it's not going to be nowhere near as bloody as the Netflix show, but I just hope that it keeps the tone is the same. How about you, Brandon?
Daredevil is I again one of the best Netflix shows out there for the MCU. A shame they canceled it, but this made me excited. For one thing, I'm a little excited just on placement in the timeline itself for the MCU for Daredevil because it says Daredevil Born Again. So this could happen. This could happen either before She-Hulk or even before Hawkeye, considering the whole what happened to Kingpin ending in Hawkeye. So it could happen potentially. It could happen before then, or it could happen after She-Hulk. So there's that thing. First off, second off, with Charlie Cox coming back, that is honestly just that's already a big enough reason to even watch the show because his portrayal of Daredevil and Matt Murdock as the lawyer is just amazing. So yeah, excited for Daredevil. Hoping for good things from it because it sounds amazing.
All right. How about you, Carbs? Are you excited for the Daredevil show?
Is the best they could do with what they would with all the a less gruesome version of Daredevil. If I do say so myself, I really love that they showed his acrobatic style of fighting because in the Daredevil show from Netflix, they didn't really show that much of him. But in She-Hulk, I really love that they did. Plus the chemistry between She-Hulk and Daredevil, I really did love them. So if we actually see a glimpse of She-Hulk mentioned, or even She-Hulk, herself in the Daredevil show, that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I'm really excited for Daredevil Born Again. Can't hopefully see Wilson Fisk because I don't see any other character being a Daredevil villain. We even see Spider-Man in Daredevil, but yeah, hopefully the Daredevil show. I'm pretty excited for that.
All right. So that's all the TV shows. Now let us talk about the movies. And let's start off with a movie that is coming like in a couple of days. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Now so for the upcoming Ant-Man trilogy, I like the first one. Well, mainly because they kept Edgar Wright's script. They didn't kept it from being bad for me, but the sequel I fucking hated it. That shit was trash. But as for Quantumania, it does look like it's gonna have way bigger stakes. I just hope that I don't know that if it's gonna be good because from what I'm hearing it's more like a stepping stone of a bigger event, which to me is kind of concerning if a film doesn't stand on its own. Well, I'm just gonna see what it is. All right. How about you, Carbs? What are your thoughts on the upcoming Ant-Man 3?
All right. So before anything else, you skipped the show Thunderbolts.
All right.
Oh.
Yeah, we can hear
Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts is a movie, isn't it?
Yeah. Thunderbolts is a movie.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's a movie.
I just it was
it's a movie, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a movie. But anyways,
never mind.
Topic. Anyways, off topic.
Back to Ant-Man. I really am excited for the show. The trailers seem amazing. I've only seen the second trailer. After that, I haven't really seen any other trailers because I don't really want to get spoiled more of the movie. But what I've seen of it, it seems like it's going to be a pretty good movie. Probably the best Ant-Man movie. I'm really excited for MODOK. I love his MCU design and his multiversal design because people can see that and say, oh, it's MODOK without having to, say he doesn't look anything like from the comics. And remember, this is the quantum realm, and the multiverse, so anything could be MODOK. But I'm really excited for Kang the Conqueror because, like I said, this movie is supposed to be a stepping stone for a bigger event, which is completely true. If you see the list of movies coming up, which is Avengers Kang Dynasty. So hopefully that builds up towards what the Phase 5 is going to be, which is the multiverse saga, as Kevin Feige said. So Ant-Man and the Wasp is a stepping stone. For example, like the Phase 1 of the MCU, which led up to the Avengers, leading up to Avengers Infinity War. Then yes, I am excited for Ant-Man 3.
All right. Yeah. From what I'm hearing, Kang the Conqueror was literally the best. From what I'm hearing from the reviews, Kang the Conqueror was like the best part of the movie. Yeah. So how about you, Brandon?
Well, Quantumania is something that I am looking forward to. They're introducing a lot of characters: MODOK, Kang, Stature. Which again, big plus. We're seeing some stuff from the MC2 universe. Which, if for you folks that don't know at home, the MC2 was actually in the comics run a future version of all of the heroes back in like the early 2000s. Something that is funny about the whole Ant-Man thing. Like, I actually watched the first Ant-Man movie at the dentist. I enjoyed that. Was probably one of the favorite movies I actually was able to watch during my time at the dentist. Second movie, I didn't really like as much as the first one, but I did enjoy it. It had lighter tones and it had a lot more, like bonding moments. For Ant-Man 3 here, this is gonna be showing a lot of Scott's relationship with his daughter and how like he's trying to like get back into the mix of things after being blipped away for 5 years, and how he's like handling being an Avenger, all the fame. And just again, it is a setup movie for the multiverse saga because this is literally where it starts. Like everything in Phase 4 is just like the setup. This is where it's going to start. So it's not. Unfortunately, because of that, all the setup, it won't hit as hard as a standalone movie. Unfortunately, but based on again from all the reviews from everything that's already happened earlier, but. I do still think it's going to be a good movie. It's introducing a lot of new characters, introducing concepts, and we're going to get a lot of answers to what's going to be happening in the multiverse saga. So I hope for good things from this movie.
Well, I hope for good things, but like I don't know. I kind of don't trust Peyton Reed because looking at from his filmography, besides Ant-Man, he does like romantic comedy, which is not my thing, personally speaking. So, but I do hope for good things. It does look pretty epic. But
yeah, did you know that actually, like this on the set, there's actually like the whole quantum realm is actually not completely CGI. They actually made a lot of the stuff on there. That's pretty cool.
Oh, that's first time I'm hearing this. What the hell?
Really?
Yeah.
Really? I swear there's like an article or like Marvel released a video on this or like on YouTube. There's like it goes over like all the CGI like behind the scenes effect. They actually didn't use as much CGI as you think when they were doing the quantum realm.
Interesting. Okay, I gotta all right. I gotta have to give props for that. They're using actual practical effects.
Yeah, it's not just that. So in the movie, this is not a spoiler, by the way, for the movie. This has already been shown in the movie trailers, so this isn't a spoiler. So for anyone who's curious on this, in the movie, Scott is gonna like release a book, right? It's a bestseller. Right. It turns out that the book is real. Actually, that's not a movie prop. They made the book into a legit book, and it's actually on pre-orders right now. It's written by Scott Lang. No joke. Marvel actually did something, and they turned a movie prop that was something that was going to be a movie prop into an actual book, which I think is amazing. Hilarious.
That is actually godlike. That is godlike.
It's actually open for pre-order right now. It's going to be releasing in September. So if you guys want to get that, that's going to give you a lot of in-depth stuff about Ant-Man.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious. I find it hilarious. It's amazing.
I usually don't read books. I don't read books anymore because I don't know. I just don't have time, honestly. But yeah, that I might snag it. But well,
yeah, I'm a bookworm. Like I will probably be reading that at some point because
that does seem pretty interesting.
Well,
Yeah, right. I mean, Kevin, tell me, have you ever heard of a movie where they made a movie prop book into an actual book, like from the prop from the movie itself? Have you ever heard of something like that happening?
nope.
That's
First
pretty
time I'm
rare.
hearing this.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's so interesting.
Well, it is cool. But let's move on to what is probably the most anticipated film of Phase 5 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Now, I'm so excited for this because I love the first film. I also love the second film. I do not understand why people don't like the second one as much, but like, and so yeah, I love the first. I love the first two movies. James Gunn knows what he's doing, so I have faith that Guardians Volume 3 will be just as good as the first two. And from what I'm theorizing, this might be what I'm theorizing. It could be a spoiler, but this might be Rocket and Drax's last stand. So so I'm kind I so characters might die. That I'm just gonna say it that way. The some of the main guys might die, and it's gonna be a roller coaster of emotions. But that doesn't detract my excitement for the film. This one is gonna be James Gunn's last hurrah for Marvel before he sets his eyes of working on the DC universe. So, with that in mind, let's hear from you, Carbs.
I was, and I still am, a big fan of the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. Definitely excited for Guardians 3. I think when Guardians of the Galaxy is it's an entirely different tone of the MCU than any other Marvel movie. It's probably the funniest out of any other Marvel movie, and it's one of the few Marvel series that always hits when it comes to the movies. Like they're always really good. The first one was amazing, an introduction to a group of space pirates / heroes. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. We're picking up on that. We're getting to meet one of the biggest villains in Marvel history, but he's also the biggest disappointment in the MCU for not being that big of a threat as he was supposed to be. All that either way, the movies were just amazing, and I loved how they introduced them to the planetary MCU characters and how in Avengers: Infinity War and Endgame played. Now, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It is going to be probably the saddest of all of the both Guardian movies, and probably one of the saddest Marvel movies because of how we're going to say goodbye to one of many people's beloved characters. Rocket is most definitely going to die in the movie. Drax is going to die in the movie mostly because of how Dave Bautista has confirmed that he's leaving the MCU. So that right there is a confirmation that either Drax is going to die or he's just not going to appear in the MCU from now on. And I really do not like having to say goodbye to characters that I really enjoy, but I really am going to be happy that they have a good closure for these characters because James Gunn is moving on to DC. It's great that he's leaving on a high note. Plus, we get to finally see Adam Warlock. He's definitely not going to be the same Adam Warlock from the comics because up to now the trailers hasn't really led him as the big bad that we were teased in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. But hopefully they do good with the character and maybe he even becomes, I guess, maybe even a good guy. You never know what they can do with these characters in the MCU.
Yeah. Well, James Gunn does know does know comedy. Dude, yeah, I do agree that they are the funniest MCU movies because James Gunn usually doesn't miss with comedy. If you have seen Peacemaker or The Suicide Squad, y'all should know what's up with his comedy. But
funniest of the superhero movie genre movies.
Yeah, honestly, but those are mainly black comedy. So but with Guardians, it is really funny, but it is really subtle. So James Gunn has to find a way to please Disney senpai Disney. So yeah, I am. Also, as for Ego, the Living Planet, I I gotta disagree with him. He was literally one of the best villains in I was it Phase 2 or Phase 3? Was what phase was Guardians Volume 2 in?
Phase 3.
Yeah, Phase
Phase
3.
3.
Yeah. He was one of the best villains, honestly. Yeah, honestly, he's way better than Ronan the Accuser. That is for damn sure.
Oh
I
yeah,
get it.
agreed, totally,
Yeah,
100%.
he definitely was because of how his character was built up and because he actually was a more important and relevant character than Ronan was. Because Ronan was just, I guess, it wasn't really a villain, but more like a wall the Guardians had to go over in order to get to the true big bad. But yeah, I do agree that Ego was better than Ronan. He definitely was more entertaining than him.
All right, how about you, Brandon?
Yeah, honestly, I'm really excited for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This is one of my favorite teams in the entire MCU. Good things from the first and second movies. Watched them both, loved them both. They're all great. This one is going to be actually the most serious one of them all when you think about it, because again, Drax and Rocket are potentially going to die. Drax more likely, considering Dave Bautista is retiring from the MCU after this movie. So again, more serious note. A lot of fallout's going to happen, like Peter Quill's fallout with Gamora leaving, the alternate Gamora from the alternate timeline.
Yep.
What happens after the whole Christmas special, like how they're dealing with stuff. Peter dealing with the fact that Mantis is his sister.
Yeah.
We're gonna see more of that happening. We saw some happy stuff in the holiday special, but we didn't really get too in depth with it. It's gonna go more in depth with it.
That's true. I completely forgot that Mantis is actually Star-Lord's sister. Completely forgot about that because I actually forgot entirely of the Christmas special and how it actually is canon.
You forgot the Christmas special?
Yeah, I forgot about it because I only saw it once and I saw it when I had free time. But
maybe we should have talked about the special before then. Maybe we should have talked about the special before we talked about this movie then.
Maybe, but no, because that was part of Phase 4 and not Phase 5. But I really did I love the Christmas special. It was pretty good. I didn't see all of the MCU specials, which I think are just 2, if I'm not correct. The Werewolf by Night and the Guardians of the Galaxy's holiday special. But it completely slipped my mind that Mantis is Quill's sister.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm hoping they go more into this, more into Rocket's past, obviously. How they're going to portray it, that's going to be a bit touchy. Because Rocket Raccoon, as we all know, does not like being called a raccoon. So this is going to be interesting on how they're going to portray him as.
Yeah, that is true. I think Mantis confirming to Quill that their siblings is already enough information for the holiday special. Though the holiday special is absolutely hilarious. That doesn't detract from the quality. It's hilarious. Please go watch it if you haven't. Though
please do. What Rocket gets the arm, like he said in Infinity War.
Yes, of course. But yes, the Guardians Volume 3 is definitely gonna be the most emotional, the most serious film out of the entire trilogy. Then probably one of the most serious films in the entire MCU. That's why I am really excited for Guardians 3, and it's gonna be James Gunn's last hurrah for Marvel as a whole. All right.
Oh yeah, that's right. Before we go on, this is going to be happening after Thor: Love and Thunder, right? Because they're responding to all of these distress calls. Do you think that's the reason why this whole movie's even happening? Like, we're just going to see them going, like, basically, like, it's the holiday special, and then they're still going to be responding to distress calls. You think?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Okay. All right.
I do believe. Actually, I'm sorry about that, but I do believe that is actually what they're doing because if you saw the trailer. They have these types of uniforms. Now, you don't really have a uniform unless you're a group of people trying to do something together. In Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, you don't see them wearing a uniform because what they're doing is just to benefit themselves and not really do anything to benefit others.
Yeah, they were just doing it for the money.
Yeah, but that's why in the holiday special we now see, or actually no, never mind. In Thor: Love and Thunder, we actually see that they're calling from distress calls and trying to actually do good and not just trying to benefit themselves. So I think that's why in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, we see them with uniforms because now they are known as saviors or helpers of the galaxy. So I guess that's why they want, I guess, a better image for themselves.
Right. So Anyways, let's move on to the Marvels. I I did not like I did not like Captain Marvel. I did not care for Monica Rambeau in WandaVision. I do like Kamala Khan though. She was pretty cool. I'm probably only gonna see. I'm probably looking forward to the Marvels mainly because of Kamala Khan because I actually did like Miss Marvel. It was way better than I anticipated to be. I thought so. We haven't seen we. If you saw the last episode of Miss Marvel, we there was a power that Kamala couldn't control, and out of nowhere, Carol Danvers just appears on Earth for with no explanation. So I'm only looking forward to this movie solely because of Kamala Khan. But how about you, Carbs?
Okay. This Miss Marvel, the Marvels. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. The Marvels is probably one of my most anticipated MCU movies. Only because I am personally attached to the character that is Miss Marvel. I read the comics of Miss Marvel back when I was in high school, and I absolutely fell in love with the character of Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel itself. Not literally, but with the character. She's actually Miss Marvel was one of my favorite superheroes, and it still is. It's really is number one for me above Spider-Man. Believe that. And when I heard that they were introducing Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan to the MCU, I was so excited for that. And then once I saw the TV show, the first episode was amazing, best episode of the entire series. Then after that, the series really, for me, in my opinion, it really got a little bit long on the side that they were trying to create a story of how she got the bangles, which it makes sense because these bangles are not what it is in the comics. Because Kamala Khan's powers in the MCU are almost entirely different than they are in the comics. Because in the comics, she almost has Reed Richards types of powers. A little, some of them are better, other than other powers are not. But in the MCU, the bangle is what gives her the powers of, I guess, to create these glass things from her mind. But I did like how the last episode of Miss Marvel was No Normal, the title of the first Miss Marvel Kamala Khan comic book, and I cannot wait for the Marvels because of how Miss Marvel was introduced as hopefully the first mutant in the MCU. Because if you recall in the last episode of Miss Marvel, Bruno was talking to Kamala and saying that when he was looking at her genes and her DNA, he referenced a mutation, and then you could hear the X-Men theme song in the background for that split for that 2 seconds, and then they just the show ends, and then we get to see the post-credit scene of Kamala just switching places with Carol Danvers, which is really weird because her powers doesn't do that, but it was also thanks to the bangle. At first, I thought it was like types of shape shifting because in the comics, Miss Marvel in the beginning could shape shift her form into looking into like other people. And what do you know that Captain Marvel was one of the first persons she transformed into? But in the comics, as she progressed with knowing her powers, she couldn't do that anymore. But in Miss Marvel in the MCU, it looked like it, but it's honestly just a switch of places in space with Captain Marvel because she did not know where she was and she looked surprised. So I'm really excited for the Marvels. Monica Rambeau, honestly, I don't really feel for the character. I don't understand what her power is because she just randomly got it when she went into the vortex of in WandaVision, and she just happened to get powers. So that was really weird for me, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. I do really love how the actress Iman Vellani portrayed Kamala Khan, and I'm kind of really glad for that. That was actually her first acting gig. Imagine that, your first acting gig being an MCU show. It's amazing.
Oh yeah. I did hear that. That was like literally her first acting gig ever. That is awesome.
That's impressive. You have to be good in order to have that to happen. But yeah, I'm really excited for the Marvels, especially with Kamala Khan, favorite superhero to be specific. Yeah.
So I so from what I've heard in the comics, she's an Inhuman. Uh,
Yes, that is correct. Kamala Khan is an Inhuman. She's not a mutant, which is probably what they were trying to go for in the MCU. But in the comics, she is an Inhuman, and she actually does get to meet Medusa and Black Bolt and all the other Inhumans. Even Lockjaw is like, I guess, her space pet. But yeah, she is an Inhuman, and surprisingly, the Inhumans is not has it been confirmed that the Inhumans is canon to the MCU, or was that tossed out?
I don't know. We do know that Black Bolt did appear in Doctor Strange too, but that's that's uh that's it really. But anyways, how about you, Brandon?
The Marvels, I think, are very exciting. Kamala Khan, again, portrayed differently from the comics, so I wasn't exactly a fan of her until I saw the series, which I'm okay with right now. I mean, different Kamala Khan, different power set. It's very interesting. Marvels is going to go. The Marvels is going to go a lot into the whole what happened after the Kree Empire got destroyed back in way back in Captain Marvel, which again, not my favorite movie, not really that good, but it did introduce some important characters in the future, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna tolerate it. So three Captain Marvels, basically. We have Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, Captain Marvel with Carol, and a potential Captain Marvel with Monica, because in the comics she did at one point take on the moniker of Captain Marvel. And yeah, the Marvels, it's gonna be interesting because like they gotta team up and they gotta save the whole universe due to the whole instability of the universe that happened because the whole Kree Empire just collapsed due to the Captain Marvel. So definitely gonna be a lot of origins, gonna be a lot more backstory, character development, like how it even happened, how the Bangle even happened. Like why did he even teleport Carol in the first place? From what I hear though, that's because of a wormhole. From what I hear about. Can anyone confirm that?
Mm, mm,
So the bangle itself, I'm pretty sure if you saw it, it was glowing, and then poof, it instant transmission derp. And you know how
the reason why apparently from what I hear from rumors I hear is that the rumor was why the bangle glowed in the first place because it connected to Carol via a wormhole. Because apparently they're gonna kind of portray the bangle as extraterrestrial. Again, it's just a rumor, so it just probably isn't true, but it does make sense when you think about it.
I think maybe I'm not that. I don't really think that 100% that it is a wormhole. But if it's a rumor, then it's obviously not true. But I don't believe that 100% that it was a wormhole, but more of a way of Kamala, because you know how in the series the bangle was a way for Kamala to go back and look at her in the past. I mean, she even was in the past. So that bangle really does have something to deal with time. And if you think of time, you think of Kang. When you think of Kang, you see how his entire kingdom in the quantum realm was built on things that looked like what the bangle and the rings of Shang-Chi are made out of. So maybe the Marvels has something to do with the build-up toward Avengers Kang Dynasty, if you know what I mean.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's basically the whole overarching theme they're going to be playing over the whole multiverse saga. The reason it's just all from rumors I've heard and just from what I understand based on comics and movies and all that. That's just my understanding of it. Just going back to the topic about the whole bangle and the rings, though, real quick. Yeah, I do agree with that. A lot of stuff looks like it's made from like Kang's, like Kang made them, very similar in general shape. Again, Shang-Chi, they did not confirm what the rings were made of. And they don't know what the beacon at the very end of the movie, what it was sending out. So again, could be from Kang. Could be from Kang. They could be like teleported, like, oh hey, something's happened. You got to get out. We don't know. So again, like I said, a lot of backstory. Hopefully, a lot of questions being answered. Got nothing but good things for this one. So yeah, that's my take on it.
all right, so let's move on to Captain America: New World Order. This one I was mixed on a fourth Captain America movie, but the as time goes on, the more they announce stuff, the more I'm actually excited for this. So in Captain America: New World Order, so Captain America 4, Sam Wilson is confirmed to be Captain America. If you saw the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it's going to be like a political thriller of sorts. And from what I'm understanding, they got like a director that actually knows his shit. And the thing that excites me the most is they got the leader, the fucking leader, a major villain for the Incredible Hulk is finally in the MCU. I can't believe they're putting the leader. That's the main reason why I am excited for this movie. Is because we are finally going to see the leader. God, I can't wait for this. But also
Yeah, I know. I'm excited. I'm excited on this as well.
Also, it being a political thriller does help. So I am really looking forward to this. We haven't seen any screenshots or a trailer, or we haven't seen a trailer of it yet. But I, I am excited for this one. But how about you, Carbs?
Honestly, the new Captain America movie does seem pretty cool to me. I did see Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it honestly was, for me, it wasn't my favorite MCU show for Phase 4, but I loved how it introduced finally the Sam Wilson Captain America into the MCU after Steve gave Sam the shield back in Endgame. But yeah, I really would love to see that, and I did not know that the leader was going to finally make his appearance in the MCU officially, because if you remember all the way back in the Incredible Hulk, how he was introduced because he got one of the I forgot what his name was, the scientist that created the Abomination got hit in the head, and he got he got his blood mixed with the gamma juice, and after that his head kind of expanded, and you got to see a little glimpse of his smile, and that, oh shoot, it's the leader. But that's it. After that, we just continued on with the MCU without having him as a problem. But now he comes back and he is a problem. I wonder if they're going to use the same actor. I don't know, but I don't really mind a recasting for him. But it's going to be interesting seeing the leader in the MCU finally. And if he's going to connect with the Hulk, I wonder how he's going to do that with the Hulk already being Professor Hulk in the MCU.
The same actor is coming back as the leader in this film. By the way, so
he is that's cool then. Hopefully, I want to see what type of acting he does for the leader, because the leaders are that character himself is pretty interesting in the comics. That's all I can say, because I haven't really read much about him, but I have seen if any of you know the Incredible Hulk TV series back in like the 90s that came out, the 80s, 90s. I remember that show.
Yeah,
I watched that a lot.
Yeah, I also watched that a lot. So the leaders basically Hulk's main nemesis. So how about you, Brandon? About Captain America 4?
I am excited about this, mainly because of the leader, and I actually do know a bit of stuff of what happened to the leader after the movie of the Incredible Hulk. Apparently, Samuel Stearns was taken into custody by S.H.I.E.L.D. and kept in stasis until the collapse of S.H.I.E.L.D. in Captain America and the Winter Soldier. After that, he just went dark. So this is basically going to be picking up way after that. So I'm excited, like how what he's been doing like the whole downtime, and I'm curious, did he blip? Because again, a lot of people got blipped. We don't know everyone who got blipped. Again, because Quantumania may explain some of this, because Ant-Man the Wasp, Ghost. We don't know if Ghost blipped at all, but it's probably likely she did, considering she's in the Thunderbolts. Because again, if you watch Ant-Man the Wasp, sorry for going back to this, by the way. If you did watch Ant-Man the Wasp, you know that she was actually destabilizing due to quantum entanglement, due to her being exposed to the energy of the quantum realm through a quantum tunnel. And Hope Van Dyne was the only person who could temporarily stabilize her, temporarily being the major word here. And before the post-credit scene, they were all harvesting quantum particles for to help permanently stabilize her.
Correction, it wasn't Hope, it was Janet.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. It's sorry. It's Hope in the comic. I keep thinking in the comics. Sorry about that. Anyway. Based on the fact it's only temporary, it means it would have worn off eventually, and I'm pretty sure she would not even survive 5 years. So I'm pretty sure she was most likely blipped even though they do not confirm that she was. Hence why she is going to be confirmed to be in the Thunderbolts movie. So I am interested in how they're going to portray that. But anyway, back to the whole Captain America New World Order. And Samuel Stearns. I'm excited for Hawkeye. Not Hawkeye. Yeah, I am sorry. I'm just mixing up everything right now. I am excited to see Wilson don the Captain America uniform again. I think he did a very good job coming into the role of Captain America, showing that you can still be Captain America even without being a super soldier. Much better than John Walker, because again he took the super soldier serum, so he kind of lost that right,
and he's still lost.
Yeah, he's still lost. So just goes to show, man. One thing I am excited for is the fact that we are getting a new Falcon. This is confirmed. We are getting a new Falcon.
Wait, are you saying we're gonna get Patriot?
No. We're getting a new Falcon
yeah, I think it's gonna be Joaquin Torres.
Yeah, that's right. He was given the damaged Exo 7 Falcon wings. He is confirmed to be Falcon.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah, he is confirmed to be Falcon in this new movie. So I'm excited for that as well. Thaddeus Ross. This is literally going to be the first time in a long while we're going to see him go through all of working with Gamma again. Because again, he was clear on Banner the entire time he was on the event. This is literally the first time ever since the first Incredible Hulk movie that we're going to be seeing him actually talking about the Hulk probably.
Wait. Ross is confirmed in New World Order? I know he was confirmed in Thunderbolts, but New World Order?
Thaddeus Ross is confirmed to be in Captain America New World Order and the Thunderbolts.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting movie. Again, waiting for the trailer, but yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I am really excited for Captain America 4. It's mainly because of the leader, because I am because the Hulk is my favorite Marvel villain of all time. So let's move on to the Thunderbolts. Honestly, this has a lot of potential, but for me, there are many things that are going against this. For one, the roster has the Winter Soldier. I don't understand why he's there.
Yes, it does has the Winter Soldier.
I don't understand why he's there. Yelena's there. Along with her father. I forgot his name, but he's there. Ghost is there.
Red Guardian.
Red Guardian. Yes, Red Guardian.
Red Guardian.
Ghost is there. John Walker or U.S. Agent is there.
U.S. Agent is there.
U.S. Agent is there. That's basically it, right?
No, there's actually there's three more. One is Thaddeus Ross, which I said earlier.
Yeah, Ross.
The second one is Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. The woman who recruited John to be.
Yes.
And the final person confirmed to be is Taskmaster.
Oh, Taskmaster! Yes. Yeah, that
Taskmaster's gonna be in that?
Fucking abomination.
Taskmaster is confirmed to be in Thunderbolts.
Absolute fucking abomination. Yeah, the roster. I am not. Yeah, personally speaking, and there's also the fact that it's directed by someone who has no experience in filmmaking, and the fact that there are writers who didn't produce that many great movies. So, Thunderbolts could have been the Suicide Squad for Marvel, but with all the people who are working on this. Yeah, this is the project I am excited for the least out of all the Phase 5.
Maybe I should explain why this whole diverse casting is, because I'm probably the only person. Unless Carbs, have you read much about the Thunderbolts in the comics?
I have not. The only thing that really intrigued me in the Thunderbolts was the Red Hulk, and I do know a bit about the Red Hulk and how Thunderbolt Ross became the Red Hulk in the comics, but I'm kind of intrigued on how he's gonna be portrayed as in the MCU, because we all know Red Hulk is not really an evil version of the Hulk, but more of just Theodore Ross trying to become what he wants to destroy.
Okay, guess I'm taking over on this one. So in the comics, the Thunderbolts is a government-led team basically like the government run version of the Avengers. The makeup is obviously very wonky because it's normally either made up of many villains like Taskmaster or just people or on the government side like U.S. Agent. So those two make sense. As for Bucky Barnes and the Winter Soldier, he actually falls in this category because he's not exactly a hero. He's trying to be a better person, but unfortunately, at the end of the day, he does not fall as a hero. So that's why he is in the cast of Thunderbolts. Yelena, because she's a replacement for Black Widow, and also the fact that she was contacted by Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. And Red Guardian obviously going along with her. Ghost, again, from Ant-Man the Wasp. This is going to be basically what she's been doing after the 5 years after the blip. And yeah, she ain't a hero either if you watch Ant-Man the Wasp. So that's why she's probably going to be on the Thunderbolts. They're probably going to be like this whole government deals happening, and they have to do jobs for them in order to work off time or something for like a prison sentence. Because again, most of these people are either villains or reformed villains, or like heroes that have just like that have fallen from grace. So that's basically the whole message of the whole Thunderbolts, both in this movie and both in comics as well.
I see. I see what you're trying to say, but the thing is, they fucking destroyed Taskmaster and the Black Widow. It should not even be called Taskmaster. It's a whole completely different character. This dude, whoever Taskmaster is in the MCU is not Taskmaster. And as for Ghost, I did not care for Ghost in Ant-Man and the Wasp. As for Bucky, he's already redeemed himself in the Falcon and Winter Soldier. I don't think his inclusion in the Thunderbolts is necessary.
Actually, it is considering. Sorry for cutting it. It actually is considering that Sharon Carter is still the power broker, and she now has ties in the government. So Bucky will probably most likely be joining the Thunderbolts, probably to stop maybe Sharon if she is confirmed to be in the movie. Again, she is not confirmed to be in the movie just yet. There's still time.
Yeah, but if you do remember, in the end of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we do see her as a villain. She became a villain. We don't know why, but she just did.
We don't know.
Exactly.
But like the thing is, people were theorizing if it's actually her or a Skrull.
Oh shoot! that's actually I've never thought of that. And thanks to Secret
I was thinking about it as well on that. And there is a good chance, yes, that Sharon has been replaced by a Skrull. That is a very big thing. But this could also just be Sharon itself, because again, it's been like it's been like 5 years, and like she's been doing some shady stuff. So yeah,
I mean, she did help Captain America in Captain America Civil War when whatever Cap was doing was illegal. So she would be on the run. And she would just take advantage of that while being on the run, because no way she's just going to turn herself in. So might as well just become a bad guy if you're going to be treated like one.
Yeah, exactly. So again, could be a Skrull. I'm not saying that's off the table, but it's most likely Sharon Carter herself right now.
Yeah, that's what the ideas are. Oh, by the way, with the character roster of the Thunderbolts, my biggest concern is what they're going to do for Ross, because we all know the actor died, unfortunately, but we all know that he is going to be replaced by, or recast, I don't want to say replaced, but recasted by Harrison Ford, which is a great actor. But I really want, but I'm skeptical on how he's going to portray the character.
Honestly, I feel like Harrison Ford is there just for the paycheck. Knowing him, honestly.
But did Harrison Ford choose to do that, or did they, ask him if he wanted to do it? Because I mean, who would deny an offer from Marvel to be one of their upcoming leading stars? Honestly,
I feel like Harrison Ford would. I feel like Harrison Ford would have probably denied a role, because he's Harrison Ford. Come on, he's already in big enough franchises.
Bro, he's coming back for another Indiana Jones movie, so I'm pretty sure his acting career is not over at all.
Well, it's probably because he has a huge passion for Indiana Jones, whereas with Star Wars, he's absolutely cynical about it.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, hopefully they don't mess up like the Red Hulk in the Thunderbolts. But other than that, I'm pretty fine with the roster. Ghost, they're recasting her because the actress would prefer to stay in a series where she's a bigger character than as a secondary character. And yeah, and Yelena Belenova, I don't know why she's in the Thunderbolts. I guess she's helping out the government, but she was, I guess, not entirely redeemed, but she did have closure with Hawkeye in the end, in like the end of the series Hawkeye. But yeah, that's Red Guardian. I guess it would be pretty cool to see him back again, and because I did like his character in Black Widow. Probably not the most memorable character in the MCU, but for Phase 4, some people would, if you look at him, they're like, oh yeah, that's Black Widow's dad.
Yeah, honestly, that's another reason why I'm not looking forward to this. The roster. Most of them are assassins. Most of them use their fists. None of these guys use. None of these guys use like None of these guys use like magical or like guns. They just use their
Well, yeah, that's
fists.
the whole point of the Thunderbolts. They're a government-run team. They don't have any special. They don't have any special gimmicks or special powers. That's kind of the whole point of the Thunderbolts.
Yeah, it just looks bland to me. Is all. It just looks. All of them just use very similar combat mechanics.
Yeah, that's a good point, especially with Taskmaster, who, honestly, like you said, is on. If you can agree with me, is probably the most disappointing villain in the MCU.
That is
Period.
That is not Taskmaster. I refuse to call that thing Taskmaster.
That thing. I'm guessing they try to make it as like, I don't even know why they're doing that. Hopefully it wasn't a woke Disney moment where they're trying to create everything to be, modernized. But in all honesty, that Taskmaster or that character that's not Taskmaster. That's just a name. That's not a title. That's just a name.
Dude, what would they need to modernize Taskmaster? Dude can literally copy and paste someone's entire fighting style just by looking at him. I don't. If that's not badass enough, then I don't know what is.
Well, the problem with Taskmaster, especially in the MCU, is that even though Taskmaster can copy basically anyone's ability, the point in the comics that it's not that unfortunately nowadays he's not that good because he used to be very OP. Nowadays Deadpool can beat him easily. Deadpool.
Well, yeah, because Deadpool with his his undying ability and his unpredictable ability as well.
Yeah, but even before, but before, back in the early 2000s, like even Deadpool had a very hard time fighting Taskmaster. Nowadays, it's just like Taskmaster's just kind of like there for like he's not as good anymore. So I do understand why they had to remodernize him in Black Widow. Again, I'm not saying
should have never been made into a female. In all honesty, should have just kept him male.
Again, I kind of agree with that. I mean, again, I do agree that Taskmaster they failed it in the MCU. Taskmaster, they failed the concept of Taskmaster in the MCU. That I'm not saying that's wrong. On the other hand, I am glad to see that Taskmaster is not just for a man, because again, the MCU is trying to be very diverse with it. I think that they did try. I will say this: they did try to do something. They thought it would be a good idea, and I do commend them on trying to make Taskmaster different from what he is in the comics. I do applaud that. That's all the good things I'm saying on Taskmaster. Just want to make that clear.
Look, I don't care if Taskmaster is a male or a female. I just hated the whole entire concept. Is all.
If you really do think about it, it does make sense that Taskmaster would be a female in the MCU because of how the story was portrayed in the MCU, not like the comics. Because in the MCU, Taskmaster was the daughter of the chief of the Black Widow Society, which is all female. So it makes sense that Taskmaster would be a female. But other than that, it doesn't really make sense it's not accurate at all to the comics. The only thing accurate about Taskmaster in the MCU was that how it was, and she was analyzing all the fighting styles of the other MCU heroes. But that's it.
All right, let's move on to the last movie of Phase 5. Blade. Now, I've only saw the first Blade movie with Wesley Snipes. I did like it. It was pretty good. Very, very bloody, and it is the very first Marvel movie. If the big with a big budget. So so without the original Blade movie, we would not get the first X-Men movie. We would not get the first Spider-Man movie. We would not get Marvel Cinematic Universe as a whole. So we kind of have to thank we would have to thank the first Blade movie for that. And I'm really looking forward to this. And one reason is that Blade will be played by Mahershala Ali. This is not actually his first appearance in the MCU. He was in a show called Luke Cage, where he played as Cornell Stokes, aka Cottonmouth. So, dude knows what's up. He is a pretty versatile actor, I'll say. So I am really looking forward to his portrayal of Blade. Well, how about you, Carlos?
Yeah. So I'm actually pretty excited for Blade the movie. The actor Mahershala Ali, he's a pretty good actor. For example, he was in The Green Book, he was in Moonlight, Luke Cage as well. He's also the voice actor for Uncle Aaron in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So yeah, I'm really excited about how he's going to portray the character. And I did growing up, I did watch the Blade movies with my dad. They weren't my favorite movies in general because that wasn't really my genre. But looking back at it, I am kind of thankful that Blade existed so that everything else could exist. And I did not know that it was actually the first Marvel movie. That's a surprise for me. But yeah, it was pretty cool that the first Marvel movie wasn't one of the mainline characters and it was more of one of the side main characters that actually did pretty good in the superhero movie industry, if you could even call that. But yeah, I can't wait for Blade and what they have in store for us, because in all honesty, Blade is probably one of the most recognizable MCU characters for me compared to the other ones that have been introduced in this phase.
All right. Yeah, I see. All right. How about you, Brandon?
Blade is something that I am looking forward to. We're going to see some vampires for the first time in the MCU. And also, we are going to get a little more backstory into a little-known post-credit scene from The Eternals, if you have watched it. So
I did saw that.
Okay, so then you know about the Ebony Blade then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and as you know, the Ebony Blade belongs to the Black Knight.
Yes,
and
sir.
As you know, the voice of Blade himself was in the post-credit scene.
Yep, that was Mahershala Ali.
So, we will potentially be seeing the Black Knight in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited for that.
Well,
but in all honesty, that's all we could say right now, because we don't have that much details of what the Blade movie is going to be about. And listening to some news about like the movie production itself, it's kind of struggling.
Yeah,
it is struggling.
From what I heard, Kevin Feige absolutely hated the script. The whole entire script was, from what I heard, the script was leaked, and yeah, Kevin Feige, from what I heard, Mahershala Ali and Kevin Feige absolutely hated it. So they sacked the first director was sacked, and they got another one who actually knows his shit. So yeah, they restarted development for Blade.
In all honesty, that's really the best thing they can do. Trying to make the MCU quality as best as it can be. Because remember, I mean, right now with there's gonna be some competition with how James Gunn is gonna run the DC universe. So superhero movies are gonna have some competition in the upcoming future.
Yep, with James Gunn handling DC universe and that upcoming animated Ninja Turtles and Transformers and the Mario movie, there's gonna be really big competition for blockbuster movies. So with that said, that is it for the Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 5. So unfortunately, Vince had to leave early due to a power outage around his area. So that's why he wasn't around for most of our discussion. So anyways, so thank you, Carbs and Brandon, for joining me on this. And before we leave, where before we start, where will we find you, Brandon?
Uh, for what? Fine for what?
Like, do you have any any social media accounts?
No, I mean, no, I don't actually have any social media. That's actually sound really sad to say. I mean, I just have this Discord, but again, if you want to host me again, I'm happy to come back on. And I really enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, of course. How about you, Carbs? Where will we find you?
You guys would find me in either mostly at Instagram. If you could find me at ERCKY05, or you could find me in Hispanic Student Union at Nova at HSU_Annandale on Instagram. And honestly, this was really fun for me talking about the MCU, not just with close friends, but in a group chat with other people that really do know what's going to happen later in movies, specifically superhero movies. Can't wait to talk about Phase 6.
Yeah, I also can't wait to talk about Phase 6. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching our discussion video for Phase 5 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And for everyone else, are you excited for Phase 5 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or are you not? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and make sure you follow my Instagram, Letterboxd, Backblock, and if you want to, you can join my Discord server down in the description down below. This is Nabicon, and I'll see you next time.